The Buffalo Bills offense is broken, and I don't know how they fix it. Stevie Johnson, please tell me you got the answer.
Pick up the pieces. You got to just keep picking up the pieces, put it together. Bills, get it together. Davis, what you got, man?
This is Broken Table. Hein, Stevie, Davis Sanchez, and
a loss for words.
Yeah. You know it's bad if Chezzy is at a loss for words. Bills lose a tough one to the Falcons, and for the first time, this offense does not look good. That's the worst this offense has looked in a long time. So if we're playing a little game of blame pie, who's getting the most blame? Are we throwing it at Joe Brady? Are we throwing it at receivers? Or are we throwing it at Josh Allen, who had another bad game with 2 turnovers?
Well, first off, you can throw it at me first because I had a family community event in Buffalo and I asked the entire defense to be there for me. And that's why they didn't show up in the first half. So you can blame me first. And then I'm going to jump to the coaching staff because I just didn't see the offense evolve. I didn't see them prepared for a team like the Atlanta Falcons that we knew was efficient on pass rush. So the thing is not to go back further in your drop, is to get the ball out faster, right? And I didn't see that. So that was my takeaway from the game on Monday night.
Okay, so where do we go here? Do we go with coaching conversation? We go with, where to put the blame? One thing I want to go to first, you asked, where do we put the blame?
Yeah.
I look at the weakness, let's say, is that wide receiving core. I said it a million times. I'll say it again. You have to get separation. And here's a stat that tells it all for me. In the second half of that game, Atlanta blitzed them 71% of the time. I mean, if you had Josh Allen as your quarterback, Stevie, and you knew you were getting blitzed 71% of the time, would you be able to do some work against that secondary back there?
Yeah, but I'm not those receivers. So, like, with them understanding that those receivers aren't going to get that separation, well, then your coach has to change the scheme up to fit those players. And
so let me add somebody then. Let's add somebody to the pie of blame. Brandon Beane then.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying, Steve, you don't have receivers that can beat one-on-one, that can get separation, then that's a problem with the draft.
And you know what also hurts with that? Lad McConkey was a guy who a lot of people were looking at, and they took Keon Cole. First of all, they traded down.
Yeah.
Could have taken Xavier Worthy, traded down, could have taken Lad McConkey, take Keon Coleman, and let's just bring up these numbers now. Keon Coleman, I remember after week 1, everyone's like, oh, do we have a guy? 8 catches, 112 yards and a touchdown week 1. Since then, 5 games since then, 16 receptions, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. His week 1 production is almost equal to what he's done in the last 5 weeks. So, like, when you watch Keon Coleman, Stevie, like, what are you seeing? Why isn't he getting open?
Well, it's the type of offense that he's in is what I'm seeing now after watching the full season last year and seeing him in the same offense this year and having the same issues about separation is either the development individually or he's just in the wrong system. Yeah, like Keon's situation, I mean, I'm going to talk about the coaching because you have to evolve them individually within practices, and it's the system that he's in. As far as if we was to get Lad McConkey, maybe Lad would be running down the field 20 yards before he turns and look for the ball also. So he might not be as productive as Keon is also in the Bills offense. So it just depends on the type of system that he's in or how he's being utilized within that system is where I'm going with.
If you look at the chart of where all of his targets come from, they're all 4 yards from the sidelines, between 10 and 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Every time.
He's never in the middle of the field.
He's never in the middle of the field. So, for me, Stevie, if you look at an ex-receiver, I think the only way he's going to get open is by running by somebody or the threat of running by somebody and running something, whether it's a slant or a hitch or an out, and getting that DB off you. If he's not able to give you the threat to run by you, which nobody's threatened by him, that's why he's gloved every time. Mm-hmm. So move him inside, run some bunch formations, run some picks, run some other stuff that gets him in the middle of the field. You could use his big body and his good hands and work.
Yes, that's it right there. It's like Davis, no. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to really put blame on a coach. But the coach got to see it. Like everybody else can see it, that he's not going to get that separation that you expect from whoever you expect. So you put him in a bunch of situations. exactly what David said. I don't even need to carry on.
It's true though, man. Like it's just too predictable that like we said, he's never in the middle of the field ever.
It's okay if he has the skill set and it's one-on-one. Outside that guy,
if you're a burner, go for it.
Yes, that route is usually what you're only going to get that route most of the times. Goes, hitches, outs, make the post. There's not going to be a ton of routes from there, but you have, like to Stevie's point, you have to have the skill set to do that. And I don't think Keon does. I think he's a gamer, but I say it again, I think he's an inside guy.
Now, how much does, and I know coming into the game, I think Atlanta's top 10 in man coverage, and Josh Palmer was supposed to be your guy who beats man this year. And to start the game, we saw a big play to Josh. He had 2 nice catches, 45-yard game going deep. If Josh Palmer doesn't go down, does that maybe change the way things are last night?
I don't know because I mean, the plays still take long to develop, so we would have had to see if he can get separation or if Josh was going to let the ball go. So unfortunately he went down on an injury and he still led the team in yards. Was only 1 away from leading in receptions. So that's just showing right there that the ball's not getting out enough to anybody, So and mind you, Josh only played a quarter and a half.
Yeah. Also, if Josh Palmer going down kills your offensive game plan, then your offensive game plan might be screwed from the get-go if it's so reliant on Josh Palmer. Obviously, no Kincaid, a big factor too, but like it's not supposed to look this bad just if you're missing Josh Palmer and Dalton Kincaid.
So yeah, we just got finished paying James Cook, right?
Right. And I thought, so back to the receivers real fast, and I want to go to Cook as well, but the week before, we saw what Curtis Samuel was for this team last year, and maybe what wasn't for this team last year, right? The snap count for Josh, we talk about Josh being out, the snap count for Josh and Curtis Samuel was the same last week. So whether Josh had a great start to the game, but I don't think they're even, think Josh is that number 1 guy or number 2 guy right now because he was sharing reps with Curtis Samuel. So Josh is probably their best route runner, and
especially against man. He's their man beater. That is what they brought him in for.
I take that back, Stevie. He's not their best route runner. Outside guy, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not better than Khalil Shakir. But yeah, that's the thing that I don't know. And I would say that another big part and a big loss for the Bills was Kincaid not being there. He's a huge matchup problem. Yeah. That's what he is. He's not a tight end. He's more of a receiver. He creates that matchup against the nickel too big or the linebacker too slow, and they have that. They missed that last night.
So let's get into Cook because you mentioned Stevie, and this goes back to play calling too. James Cook was not on the field for the 9 Bills plays on 3rd down or the 4th down, and played just 52% of snaps. I understand the need to want to keep him fresh for the playoffs. But if you're not winning regular season games, that guy needs to play more. And when you have that 3rd and 1 where they run that stupid end around for the 2nd week in a row, run the ball up the middle with James Cook or sneak it with Josh Allen twice. What is the point of having such a strong interior line if you're going to try to get way too cute with that stupid end around? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't like the end around either. I'm with you on it. Just let James Cook run down or give Josh that option. Or if James Cook is going to be outside on the sideline and you're going to save him, then focus on who's your next top guy. And that's going to be, since Dalton's out, Khalil Shakir. Then who's your next best guy? Dawson Knox. You know what I mean? Just lock in on those guys. Don't even think or try to read anything. Just expect those guys to give you their eyes within that route or within that situation of pressure. And however they chose to do end arounds and other things. And it's just confusing. And this is a good time for them to recover and check film for 2 weeks and get better.
Steve, you said it. James Cook got paid. So let's say right now he's their best offensive weapon, right? We would all agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
What does Atlanta do with Bijan Robinson other than, what do they do? He's lined up at slot. He's motioning in
He's out
backfield.
wide too. He's everywhere.
Out wide. Who's the best offensive player for the San Francisco 49ers?
Christian McCaffrey. He's
so what do they do with him? They just try to hand on the ball? No. So why is he not James Cook? Why does Joe Brady not have James Cook in the slot, motioning back, moving around? You don't have to throw the ball to him, but just move him around and get him space to work.
Present the threat of James Cook doing something else because the defense has to key on him all the time.
And those teams that we're talking about have better receivers than the Bills.
Yeah.
And they still are doing that.
Hey, facts. We can even jump over to the defensive side with Who's the highest paid DB? Why isn't that person matched up on their highest
Drake London.
paid
Yeah, why isn't he covering Drake London the whole game?
You know, it don't make any sense to me. You know, it got to go both ways. In the Bills,
that's a great point.
Time for bye week.
Great point. You paid Christian Benford. You're beat up in your secondary. You're going to a guy that was probably your fourth. You know, Trey was probably their fourth option. You know, probably their dime guy at best. And you're not traveling. The guy you paid $23 million to travel him.
Especially when they're literally only looking to Drake London. That was it.
First 9 passes, 7 of them were to Drake.
Yeah, he's the only guy that you're targeting. So
great point.
Before we get into let's get into the defense in a second, but I just want to finish it on this. Like, for the offense, you're heading into the bye week. Do you need to just sort of like what needs to happen during this bye week? Like, do you just need to sort of reestablish your principles? Like, hey, we need to run the ball. Like, what needs to change for the offense going into the bye week, Stevie?
That and Joe gotta sit down and reevaluate himself, like get himself out the picture, trying to be the mathematician. We know you're great. You go get great opportunities later, but just simplify the playbook. Go to a West Coast offense or go to those tendencies, get it out here, get reads, checks, flats, and then just let your playmakers be playmakers. You don't have to dissect the defense through Josh Allen. You know, just let them be playmakers from here and run the ball. Utilize like listen to the Broken Table podcast. Yeah. Listen to what you said.
We'll figure you out. We'll figure you out in your bye week, Joe. Give us a listen, Joe Brady. We'll get you all sorted out during the bye week. Just get a lawn chair on the beach somewhere and listen to Broken Tables. We'll get you all sorted out for your offense.
All right, let's go to the defense now, because in that first half, that was pretty much as bad as they've looked. But they really did turn it around in the second half. However, when they needed a stop, they gave up a massive long drive and just got kind of carved up that entire time. So, and Davis, this is probably more for you, because I look at that defense and I see talented guys. Deion Walker was awesome again. He's having a great year. Probably the only good draft pick you had. You get out of Oliver back, who we know is good. We have Benford, who's solid. What is the weakest part of this defense that needs to be fixed?
Well, I think I said it last night in our show on the game broadcast, but if you have a defense that's 32nd, they're 32nd in NFL in yards per rush given up. And then you look at your secondary, and I looked at their stats on PFF last night, and then again, that's up for interpretation to how much you want to trust in that.
It's still good data, though.
It's decent data, yes. And I saw this. They don't have a single defensive back in the starting defensive back right now that has above 65 grade in coverage on PFF. Not a single defensive back. To put that in context, the Kansas City Chiefs don't have a single defensive back under 65. Wow. They're the run defenses last, and the secondary doesn't have talent. We can see that with our eyes. So I don't know what to do. It's.
So do you think it's like, to me, I look at like, okay, you have a ton of injuries, and they had some bad ones again yesterday. You have Terrell Bernard going down. Who else?
Milano's not in.
Yeah, Milano's out. Milano, it's like, I don't even know if he's ever going to be healthy. You lose a tackle in warmups. Like, they are really, really depleted. You're going to get the Canadian Hoyt back from suspension. You're going to get Okunjobi back from suspension. You hope to get Hairston back, but do they need to trade for a safety? Do they need to make, and I know Jordan Poyer played yesterday, but like, the Rapp-Cole Bishop pairing looks like one of the worst in the leagues, and typically with a McDermott defense, and I know you called this, you are vindicated for this. You've been saying this for a while.
You can see me chuckling. You know where my brain is going.
But like, Taylor Rapp last year was good. That guy's gone. That guy isn't there anymore. So like, do they need to make a move at safety, you think?
I mean, safety's just not a position you really gonna pay and trade for. I mean,
but the McDermott defense is so reliant on good safety play, more so than any other teams, it seems.
Yeah, I agree. I get it. I mean, I was listening to someone yesterday saying that maybe Poyer should be the starter, and you just sit Rapp
probably
down.
Yeah. Stevie, what do you think?
Yeah.
When you look at the defense, what's the biggest issue?
Yeah, so my thing about the defense is I was excited to see them flying around. Even though they wasn't making some of those plays, I was still happy to see that. The bad thing was seeing Bernard go down, because he's our heat seeker. And with him going down, now we got to rely on other guys to step up and make those plays. And hopefully we can set the edge, not just on the defensive line, but also on the boundaries in our corners.
Here's my big thing with the defense. Yep. It's clear last year and this year, they were reliant on turnovers. And this defense is not talented enough to overcome all these penalties and losing the turnover battle. So the penalties are another thing, is like you need to play clean football to overcome that talent gap. And your offense can't turn it over, and your defense needs to at least create turnovers. And this is now a couple weeks in a row of not creating turnovers.
I think this even speaks louder to the greatness, and I've been saying this for a while. I think you guys will probably agree, but the greatness of Sean McDermott. Because if we look back, and I would even through Leslie Frazier's time, through now Bobby Babich, and when Sean McDermott was calling defense, their secondary, and Steve, you know this, you can't play defense with weak corners because that just handcuffs so much that you can do.
Yeah.
It's really easy to be a defensive coordinator when you have great pass rushers and cover guys that can hang one-on-one. Well, the Bills for the last 6 years Trey is the only guy.
Since his first injury. They had that before.
Trey White was the only first-round pick they've had all those years of decent defense.
Elam too, but Elam garbage. Pardon me.
I'm not saying they can't be a decent defense, but they're not going to do it on talent.
It really seems like a lot is reliant upon Max Hairston coming off of IR and having to jump right in and save this defense. And I think for a rookie, that is way too much to ask, especially a rookie who missed so much time during camp.
Yeah.
It's not like Max is a Jalen Ramsey type. You know what I'm saying? Max he's an off corner and he goes and get the ball when it's in the air. But coming off of a knee injury, we can't be talking about Max Harrison as being the savior for this defense. That means we want him to come downhill and make big hits, talk trash, get the energy, you know what I mean? Do all that. So that's too much for just him. I just think it has to be a collection. And like Davis pointed out, back from the Leslie times with the 13 seconds, what hurt us? Playing soft, playing off. Got to get some guys that can play press and get through that stuff.
One thing, I know the defense was bad, but we do have to shout out, and you said this on the broadcast too, Canadian Matthew Bergeron. That guy was open in holes yesterday, and like, especially on the big Bijan touchdown run, the 81-yarder, and then a couple other big plays. He's hitting the second level and just laying people out. Like I met him at F1, and like I'm a big dude. That Bergeron is a monster. Yeah. That guy is a big dude, and
can move. Yeah,
super athletic. Yeah, so credit to the Canadian for really opening those holes. But now, before we move on to the rest of the league, there's one point I want to make here, and I'll set it up to you guys with a question. So last year, the Bills were 3-0, lost to the Ravens, lost to the Texans, both embarrassed in those games. They go on to win 7 straight after that. 2020, Bills started 4-0, lose 2 straight, including that beatdown to Tennessee. Remember the Derrick Henry stiff arm on Josh Norman, that game? And then they got smoked by the Chiefs. They go on to go 9-1 to finish up the year. So let's maybe more focus on last year. Are the Bills right now in a better place compared to where we thought they were after that Texans game last year?
I can start it off. I would say, we are in a better place because Josh Allen has the ultimate confidence of an MVP. The difference from last year to this year is he was hungry to that MVP. So he was playing like it was 2-minute drill from the beginning. Now he's calm and reserved, but the benefit of having these losses back to back, we'll see a woke up Josh Allen, a more alert and aware Josh Allen. So I believe we are in a better position than last season.
Yeah, I'm just taking a peek of strength of schedule here and where the Bills sit. I don't. Yeah, right now I'll tell you right now real fast. So right now and here I'll say this real fast. That game against the New England Patriots last week, circle that on the calendar when we look at on the schedule on the calendar when we look at what the turning point of this season was. Because if they win that game against the Patriots, the Bills are now they would have been 3 games ahead of the Patriots with the tiebreaker and holding the tiebreaker. Yeah. So essentially 4 games ahead of the Patriots.
Patriots are in first right now because of that tiebreaker.
That was 7 days ago.
Yeah.
7 days ago, they would have been up 3 with the tiebreaker. And so essentially up 4. Fast forward to last night. And now to your point, they're now behind. Now they're behind. Like that was an absolute, you want to talk about a playoff game. That was a playoff game in October. And so, and also to add to that, the Bills, and this is why I am concerned. They've had the 30th tough schedule. It's the 30th easiest schedule in the league so far. No, it's not 30 easiest. They have exactly. So they have an easy schedule and they have a 20-something to remaining. So they have a decent path, but they haven't been able to capitalize.
So let's go over that. This is the remaining game. So they're on the bye this week. Then they go at Panthers, Chiefs at home. Now a massive game, and we'll talk Chiefs in a minute here. At the Dolphins, then Bucks at home. That's now like the Bucks might be the best team in the NFC, and Baker Mayfield is an MVP candidate. So that's a tough game. Then you go at Texans on a Thursday night. That defense is great, not going to be easy. At Steelers, Bengals at home. Week 14, we don't know what the Bengals will look like by week 14. Like, I doubt Burrow will be back, but then at Patriots, at Browns, Eagles at home, Jets at home. So the schedule could still line up for you, but it's looking a little tougher than it did earlier in the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's looking tougher. I would say now that the team is woke up, they just got slapped in the face a few times. And now I think we'll see a more alert and more fired up team. So it's going to be great games.
So let's transition to the Chiefs, because that Chiefs game is getting closer now, and they look like the best team in football to me. So Rashee Rice is coming back as well. The offense is alive. Patrick Mahomes, I got this from Dom's article this morning. First in total yards, first in total touchdowns, fourth in QBR, second in total EPA. Like, the Chiefs offense is starting to build, and then now here comes Rashee Rice. So, Davis, are the Chiefs the best team in football right now?
Oh, no, I can't say they're the best team in football now.
Who is then?
I still think it's Detroit as soon as they get one of their DBs back. If they get one of their corners back, I think still.
Oh, dude, yeah. What were they? They're missing what? They're missing first 5 corners?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So I think they are. But they're the best team. I would agree with you. They're the best team in the AFC. And that was 2 weeks ago. We were talking about, or 3 weeks ago, just how bad the Chiefs were and would they make the playoffs and all that conversation. I agree with you.
What do you think, Stevie? Who's the best team in football?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Still going with, even after that Giants loss, eh?
Yeah, division matchup. We lost to the Patriots. You know, division matchups are different. You know, and the Chiefs are looking really good because they had the worst run early, so they've been fired up. So they're hitting on all cylinders at the right time, and they're getting their guys back. I would say the same for the Bills. We just hit our wall a little bit later. Now they feeling the fire, and they gonna be fired up going through this bye week and coming back to go against the Panthers, who shut out the Atlanta Falcons. So this would be a great prove-it game for the Bills when they come back.
Now, something on the Chiefs, and Davis, I think you're going to love this. This is from Xavier Worthy. Everybody got to eat. EGE has become a new rallying cry for the Chiefs wide receiver room. So the Chiefs have basically just stolen Everybody Eats, but just changed it. Are you a believer in the Chiefs version of Everybody Eats, or not so much?
Stop bobbing your head. Stop bobbing your head, Stevie. I know. Stop bobbing your head, Stevie. Yeah, you got it.
Hey, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because they run a tempoed offense.
Right.
You know, it makes sense for everybody to eat when you can get it out fast. You got a scrambling quarterback who's, I'm going to get it to you. I'm going to get it to you. If you ready, hey, give me your eyes. I got you. We'll do that. Like, if you're in the offense that's slow where you got to set up and develop, it's hard for everybody to eat. There's just not enough time. And then you can't rely on the offensive line to give you that much time.
Well, also, too, I think everybody eats when you can get separation. And all of those Chiefs guys can get separation. So it's now a good problem to have where Mahomes can be like, I can go to Rashee Rice, I can go to Travis Kelce, I can go to Xavier Worthy. Hollywood Brown is potentially like a fourth option. When that guy's healthy, that guy can still get separation. So, like,
are the Chiefs the best team in football? You think they're the best team in
honestly,
football?
man, I really do think they're the best team in football. It's like a lot of it comes with, yes, the past history, but this offense looks different. And going back, like, whatever. I'm just going to throw the Jags loss out the window. But, like, the offense seems to be humming. And I think people are really underrating just the difference Rashee Rice will make to this team and him coming back.
You know what? I think that I'm going to recant my answer. I'll just say the AFC. I think they are the best team in the AFC. Actually, there's no question. If you look at when Rashee gets back and think about that top three, Stevie, and from a speed standpoint, and then having Kelce work underneath, and think about that receiving core versus ours right now. Like, and you got Juju and Kelce, who are proven vets, big time players, and their role is exclusively to work underneath, and they're damn good at it. And then you have 3 of the fastest guys in the league.
Yep.
When you look at Xavier, Hollywood Brown, and I'm not even talking about Rashee. I'm talking about Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah.
They have those 3 guys as take the top off the defense guys, and Rashee can also run. It's not even close.
I think when you look at, the building of a receiver room, all those guys seem to really complement each other. And the way they've built that complements each other, whereas it's kind of different when you look at the Bills.
Yeah, man. I feel like those Kansas City Chiefs receivers, that whole offense is one of the best in the league, and they definitely complement each other. The way they run their routes, the way they get in their formations. Here's a tidbit that I got from our partner and co-host, Chezzy. 30% of the time, the Buffalo Bills are in a bunch formation or scheming in some type of close split, which puts them sixth in the league. And now we wonder why we can't get separation. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're amongst the highest rated when it comes to bunch splits in close splits. And that's why that team is booming with the tempo that they have. So
Chezzy with going pure stats and info here with the bunch formation stats.
It's interesting to see though, but I think Steve makes a great point about just trying to pick up the tempo, move guys around. You have to find ways. You can't keep, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again at the same result. So looking for different results. So yeah, I think that's yeah.
Let's transition real quick. Let's talk some Ravens, because here's the stat for you. Since the 14-team playoff in 2020, only one team has made the playoffs after starting 1-5, and that was Washington in 2020. Ravens right now on FanDuel to make playoffs, plus 110. To miss playoffs, minus 134. Chezzy, where is your money going with those two markets?
That's available on FanDuel right now?
Right now. Bet it before.
I got to go.
Chezzy is a whale, so we're like, if he's going to bet that right now, that's going to move the market. So luckily for you, man, you can bet that, and before we post it. So tell us where the smart money's going.
It's in.
Yeah.
They're not. It's in. They're not making the playoffs. No way. The Baltimore Ravens are not making the playoffs.
So now let me just give you one little tidbit of information as to why they might. And I'm not saying they are or they aren't, but here's why they might. So you hope Lamar Jackson is back after the bye week. They go bye week. Then they go versus Bears, at Dolphins, at Vikings, at Browns, versus Jets, versus Bengals. That could be 6 wins right there. Mm-hmm. Then the key one, and these are the big ones. Steelers at home, at Bengals, versus Patriots, at Packers, finish the year at Steelers. So you still have 2 more games against Pittsburgh and a very, very easy schedule. So now that you're armed with the schedule.
Yeah, the Ravens have the 4th easiest remaining schedule. So that, to your point, Hein, if they do, that is one reason they have a shot. Their chance of making the playoffs looks like they have them at 40% right now to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say if all things go right, that adds up to about 8 wins possibly.
To me, it's all that. Their only path is the division, I think, so it's going to be Steelers. I think if they can get by the Steelers and those 2 games, that's it. But I think the fine people of FanDuel have made those odds pretty perfect right now. But let's finish with Tua, and let's play the Tua sound right now.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fellas. So Tua kind of throws his teammates under the bus, saying guys are showing up to meetings late, aren't showing up to meetings at all. Chezzy, let's start with you.
No, you can't.
All right, after Stevie,
you can't start with me.
Gotta start with Stevie after that.
Stevie Johnson.
Okay, so Stevie,
presentation.
If you are in that Dolphins locker room and Tua says that, how are you reacting? What are your thoughts?
Wrap, man. It's a wrap. Like the walls are on fire. Everything's going downhill when the quarterback is calling everybody out like that. And you just see with the writing on the wall. Tua may be playing elsewhere, and that's all I can say right now.
They called those closed doors or players only meetings for a reason. That's because the information in those meetings is just for the players. And, to violate that code that the players in that room have, to Stevie's point, it's tough to come back from. So unless he was to, unless he comes out and apologizes publicly or to his teammates for airing out their dirty laundry like that, I think it is a wrap for him. And I think even if he does do that, I think it's still a wrap.
So for me, when I saw that, I wasn't shocked, but I saw so many players be so vocal, ex-players coming out and saying how you can't do that. And you're saying that's because it's like a players only meeting, that is like a specific trust that he violated?
Well, it's kind of both, considering that's the starting quarterback that came out and said it. It ain't like it's Tom Brady who's coming out and saying it. I don't even want to compare it like that. Like Tua's not that good. He can say that. You know, he's got the respect from athletes, but considering that your team is failing right now, struggling, you can't do that. You know, you can't do that. That's the bro code. He violated the bro code. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's almost like snitching. You just don't talk about stuff like this. Just some things aren't to be talked about. You just don't talk about it.
Definitely something he should have handled internally, but that is all for us this week. Remember, catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Stevie, play us out as per usual.
Yeah, hey, you guys know we not gonna give it to y'all soft, and we not gonna be babying anybody. So if y'all want to hear the real from both sides, stay locked in to the broken table. We'll see y'all next week. One love and go Bills.